All right, team, we've put in a solid 3 quarters learning about the 3 main areas of the social brain. Now in the 4th quarter, we're going to put it all together and be that graceful social person as we zip down the court. So, the preschooler, they don't have much of a precedent yet. Their perceptions of others is pretty limited. That nonverbal processing really isn't there a whole lot. They've just got a short little guy playing defense. They have lots of emotions. So when they get into a social situation that maybe somebody knocks down their blocks, there's a whole lot of frustration and anger coming down the court. Limited awareness of that other child. So they may not have noticed that it was a complete accident. The child didn't do it on purpose. They feel bad about it. They want to help pick up the blocks. And then that quick reaction. We just don't have the defense to stop us. And often then you see a hostile reaction back. Not too graceful yet. Now fortunately, as those areas of the brain grow, as we've talked about in our other sections, you're going to see by 2nd, 3rd grade, we're going to have a pretty decent defense. We're going to add a couple more players, and we're noticing more things. So our nonverbal awareness of ourselves, of others, and how we should respond really goes up. We also see a decrease in the emotions. So children, as they mature, learn, they need to control those emotions, they dampen them down. Every 2nd grader knows the line, if you get what you get, you don't pitch a fit. Now we have that basic setup for good interaction as we get into 3rd and 4th grade. Maybe a little touch of sarcasm starting in there as that social brain's growing. But we're being pretty graceful social beings. Now with adolescence, a couple things happen. First of all, that emotional brain doubles in activity. So once again, we've got lots of emotion coming down the court at us on a really spontaneous, fast break. The present is growing so fast that it really can't keep up with itself, so you see a decrease in presidential functioning. Now we're down back to about a 4-on-1 emotions to presidents. You'll also see a huge increase in nonverbal processing. However, their nonverbal processing isn't really sophisticated yet. If you go to any middle school classroom, you see lots of little looks and hand gestures and facial gestures as people are trying to exert power and control and learn how to be tomorrow's politicians. So again, for that adolescent, you often see big emotional responses, very spontaneous, and not much defense stopping them. Whether that's excitement to jump in a car without putting on your seatbelt, or whether it's anger and getting into a fight with somebody at the Friday night football game, you see that all the time with the teens and young adults as those emotions control their behavior and the president doesn't stop it. Now fortunately, as we get through high school into the college years, that president's really going to start to develop and become a very efficient adult brain with lots of solid defense. So we're hoping as your child grows into the late 20s, they've got a good solid defense, they've got really good nonverbal processing that they're using for good things, and those emotions start to really trim down again. So now we see a nice healthy balance of defense to that emotional offense, being able to stop things and be that socially graceful person. Now the importance for you as a parent is to know your child. How do they do in those 3 areas? What do they need based on those 3 areas? So for instance, your child that doesn't have much of a president, doesn't have that defense, the Tiggers of the world, they need lots of rules and structure. For a child who has too much anxiety and they get too worried, you need to encourage them to take risks. They don't need more rules. They need to be encouraged to expand past the rules. For children who doesn't observe others or observe situations very well, again, they need help being taught how to do it, not so much discipline as much as instruction. Now we're going to put it all together in a social parfait. So if we come on over here, the first thing your child needs, as we've talked about all the other tips and suggestions, is good solid structure. If you're making Jell-O the old-fashioned way, the way my mom used to make it, it's hot water, that Jell-O mix, and you've got to have a solid bowl. Your rules, your discipline at home, your structure, your routines need to be solid. They can't have any cracks. That's going to allow that Jell-O, your child, to develop and mature in a healthy, safe way. Now next, we're going to add the love and fruit of emotional connection. The best way to help your child grow and develop into a social human being and be a contributing member to society is lots of love and connection with your child. Thirdly, we're going to add some real fun through adventures with your kids. Children need to be outside with you, doing activities, having fun, going on adventures, getting outside of that 9 to 5 school day, work day, homework, weekends, even in the evening sometimes. Play with your kids, get out and have some fun, especially enjoy the great outdoors. Nothing is going to make you closer to your child than an afternoon, weekend spent being outside, going on an adventure. And finally, to top it off, the most important part, the cherries on our parfait, volunteerism. Take your kids out, get them involved in the community, getting them volunteering and helping others. As we've talked about with the social brain, the role of that brain is to help you, your child, survive and live in community with others. If they're going to do that, though, they need a whole community that is working together, trusting each other, developing healthy relationships. The best way you can help your child doing that is getting them out, serve others, serve your community. They'll feel better, they'll make the community a better place, and all of us will be more resilient. Thank you very much.